Vern Schweitzer. My occupation is farming. Farming is not only my occupation, farming is my life. It's what I breathe and what I live. I grow watermelons, cucumbers, squashes, cantaloupe, tomatoes, peppers, onions, corn, peas, beans. You name it, I eat it. I raise everything but hell that grow too fast. Helps you to get it fresher because it's raised directly on your property and you're within 30 to 40 minutes from your market. I can be at my market, after I harvest, I can be at my market in 40 minutes. So you can't get any fresher than that. I told a lady a couple of weeks ago, I said the only way you can get it, she wanted some lettuce. And I went and got her some lettuce. And I said the only way that you can get lettuce any fresher than this is you have to sit out there with your bowl and make your salad right there in the field. Well, I tell y'all, I make some little home remedy, but it's for manipulative purposes only. If you got a backache or a side ache, or if you got a headache, my brew will help all of that. And if you don't have any, this will help you to keep from having them. And you just take just a little nip at night before you go to sleep, and you'll have restful peace. This is one of the other one of these things that you get by being a farmer. You can have the fruit of the vine year round. The connection that we had, we don't have that connection with our children no more. We don't teach them. We don't teach them about how to grow this and how to grow that, and we lost that. Because when I came along, everybody in my neighborhood knew about growing something. And now you'll be surprised that you go through a whole neighborhood and you may find one or two that knows anything about growing something. I, as a youth, had a choice whether to learn it or whether not to learn it. But these children don't even have that opportunity, and that's sad. That's sad. This is the #1 snack on the farm because they say this is brain food. This activates the brain. And all these years, I didn't know what was activating my brain.
And it was blueberries.
Blueberries. Ain't they nice? You want one? You want one? You want one? You want to eat it? Oh, you ain't eat it. Neither one of y'all clowns don't know about no blueberries. Because you got to have steady time. And I say steady. Steady time, that is your steady time. When you out there in the fields, sweat rolling down, and all of a sudden, you feel a cool breeze go past your face, and still complaining about the heat. While you're praising Almighty God, you feel this cool breeze go past your face, and you say to yourself, God is breathing on you. God breathing on you, feel Him breathing on you. Do you feel Him breathing on you? Can you feel that? You can't feel it if you're complaining. I was born right here in Forsyth County. I was born in Winston-Salem on a little street called Railroad Street. Don't even exist anymore, but I know exactly the spot. And that's where I got my start from. And my first little garden was on a street called Greenwood. That's in East Winston, right there where the Mechanicals and Farmers Bank. Maybe about 100 yards from that spot. And that's where I planted my first garden. Bees don't take a whole lot of caretaking. If you make sure that they have adequate food, And during the summertime, they can get their own food, so you don't have to worry about trying to make sure they got adequate food. And really, you don't have to worry about it in the wintertime. But what we do as humans is called robbing. We rob the bees for their honey. They don't make honey for us. They make honey for them to survive during the winter. I was a truck driver, and I worked in New York for 15 years. That old saying, you can get the boy out the country, but you can't get the country out of the boy. Well, I'll tell you what, it must be true. I lived in New York for 15 years. I came back to Winston-Salem with more country in me than I did when I left. And the whole time when I was in New York, I was saying to myself, I'm going home. And I was talking to God about a spot that I wanted to farm, and this place came up for sale, and I told God, I said, I don't want all of it. All I want is about a half an acre. And God spoke to me and said, why take the acre, half acre? Why not just take it all? And I said, well, you're in control. And I was able to get 9 acres instead of the half acre that I wanted. And guess what? I'm at least 20 acres short. There's a story in these apple trees. Every one of these apple trees that I planted from a twig that was no bigger than this limb. And I planted 50 fruit trees on this property.
How many do you have left?
In the neighborhood of about 45. I mean, I've lost, well, I imagine it's still 50 because I got 2 or 3 that volunteered and came up that I didn't even plant. This is another fruit tree. This is a pear tree. The most magnificent pears you ever tasted in your life. What I've learned from farming is the major thing that I've learned about farming is to be content. I always ask God not to let me look back at what didn't happen or what should have happened, but make sure that you re-energize me for another year, that I forget about the past and look towards the future. That's what I learned out of farming. So when I come and see a crop that failed, like I've had quite a few crop failures, I mean more than enough crop failures, but I never look at the failure, I look at the positive side. I don't have no clock to punch. My hours are can't see to can't see. Too early to see in the morning and too dark to see at night. But I love that. And when I go to sleep at night, I don't just go to sleep. I dream about what I'm doing now on the farm. I dream about farming. I've been thinking about farming all night because it's my life. And if you get your mind constructed on something that is really constructive, then you won't have time for the foolishness. I ain't got time to talk about robbing nobody, shooting nobody, cutting nobody. My aim is just raising fruit for people, food for people to eat. If you get your mind on constructive stuff, then you won't have time for the folly. And to me, outside of farming, everything else is folly. I'm very humble and gratified by that, because when I take my produce to the market and set it on the table, to see people how they grasp it and how they be so appreciative to have it, and it going into homes that they probably wouldn't even invite me in, and that's gratifying to know that somebody's eating things that I have taken my time with my hands and took my time to nourish them, to get them to grow, and then they got them serving their friends and their family and saying that this came from a farm over in Forsyth County, and he grows the most magnificent this and he grows the most magnificent that. That gives me gratitude. living his life for me.